The Magic Gift. On Dave's 24th birthday, the village square buzzed with excitement. A traveling magician had arrived, his colorful wagon filled with wonders and mysteries. "For my final act, I need a volunteer," the magician finally called out, his eyes finding Dave. "You, young one, today is special for you, isn't it?" Dave's heart raced as the crowd gently pushed forward. "It's my birthday." The magician smiled mysteriously. "Ah, birthdays are magical. They're when the universe gives its greatest gifts." He waved his hands in elaborate gestures. "Let me see what gift the universe has hidden inside you." With a flourish, the magician reached towards Dave's heart and pulled out a puzzle box, unlike anything anyone had ever seen, crafted from smooth, dark wood that seemed to shimmer with inner light. Intricate pieces twisted and turned, each one perfectly balanced. The crowd gasped in wonder. "Inside this box," the magician announced for all to hear, "waits a gift more precious than gold. But you have exactly 1 year to solve it. On your 25th birthday, if the puzzle remains unsolved, it will lock itself forever." Dave's hands trembled as they received the beautiful box. What kind of gift? The magician smiled mysteriously. "The kind that changes everything." And with that, he packed his wagon and disappeared into the morning mist, leaving Dave alone with the beautiful, mysterious box and an entire village of curious eyes. The first weeks were pure magic. Dave worked on the puzzle with bright eyes and eager hands, completely enchanted by its mystery. When neighbors asked about it, and they often did, remembering the magician's grand performance, Dave would beam with excitement. "It's coming along wonderfully," Dave would say proudly. "I can feel it wanting to open." The pieces would click and turn with satisfying little sounds, almost fitting perfectly. Warm under patient fingers, smooth edges gliding into place. But then, just like morning mist dissolving in sunlight, the puzzle would shift and change, mixing itself up again. Still, Dave continued with bright hope. As spring melted into summer, the excitement began to dim. The puzzle remained stubbornly unsolved, and Dave's cheerful responses to the villagers' question started to sound forced. "Oh, it's a tricky one," Dave would say, managing a weak smile, "but I'm making progress." Inside, frustration was growing like storm clouds gathering. Each day brought the same disappointing results. Each promising click led to another dead end. Still, Dave continued, now with gritted teeth instead of joy. By autumn, the frustration had hardened into something bitter and angry. When villagers asked about the puzzle now, Dave's responses were sharp and short. "Still working on it." Dave would snap, not meeting their eyes. At home, Dave attacked the puzzle with desperate force. Hands shook with frustration, breath came in quick, angry bursts. "Work!" Dave would demand, twisting pieces roughly. "Just work!" Winter brought the breaking point. One snowy morning, after yet another sleepless night of failed attempts, Dave couldn't take it anymore. "I'm done," Dave announced to the empty room, wrapping the puzzle box in cloth and shoving it deep into a closet. "I'm done with this cursed thing." For weeks, Dave tried to forget about it, but the magician's word echoed in quiet moments. "On your 25th birthday, if the puzzle remains unsolved, it will lock itself forever. 2 months before the deadline, guilt finally won. Dave retrieved the box from its hiding place, dusting it off with reluctant hands. "One more try," Dave whispered, but the words held no conviction. The attempts now were half-hearted, mechanical. Hope had died somewhere in the winter cold. By the time spring returned, Dave had simply given up. The puzzle sat on the table, untouched for days at a time. The night before Dave's 25th birthday, there was no panic left to feel, only a quiet, empty acceptance. "At least I tried," Dave told himself. As the sun reached its peak, marking exactly 1 year since the magician's visit, Dave sat quietly with the puzzle box. No frustration remained, no desperate hope, no bitter anger, just acceptance. "I wonder," Dave said softly, picking up the box one last time, "what is the gift you are hiding?" And Dave simply said with acceptance that he will never find out. He closed his eyes and began to breathe, in and out, slowly, deeply. With each breath, something was happening. In the stillness, memories began to flow like gentle water. The first weeks, when every attempt felt like an adventure, and Dave learned excitement. The summer months of growing frustration, where Dave had learned to persist despite difficulty. The autumn anger, when Dave had learned that force cannot solve everything. The winter of walking away, when Dave had learned that sometimes rest is necessary. And the spring of quiet surrender, when Dave had learned the peace of acceptance. "The gift," Dave whispered, eyes still closed. "The gift isn't in the box." The year of working on the puzzle, the journey through every emotion, the learning to move through excitement, frustration, anger, and finally to acceptance. "I already received it," Dave said softly. "The gift is patience itself. The gift is what I became. Not just patience, but the wisdom to know when to try and when to rest, when to persist and when to let go, when to hope and when to accept." "The magician knew," Dave whispered with growing wonder. "He knew that would happen." As these words left Dave's lips, the most beautiful sound filled the room. Click. The puzzle box opened gently, like a flower blooming at dawn. Inside, instead of treasure or gold, was a small mirror. And in the mirror, Dave saw someone transformed. Someone who had learned that the greatest gifts come not from reaching a destination, but from whom we become along the journey.